Hey everyone, welcome to The Explainer. So today we are diving into something really interesting, finding community in the city through ballroom dance. Look, if you live in a bustling metropolis like Chicago, you already know the energy is just incredible, even when that winter wind is literally freezing your face off. But, there's a hidden challenge in all that hustle. Navigating the social landscape of a massive city, it can honestly feel like trying to put together a giant puzzle when you're missing half the pieces. So today, we're going to look at a totally fascinating, structured, and just genuinely fun solution to that very modern problem. And we'll discover some awesome insights about the Chicago dance scene along the way.
It really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you actually find community in a busy metropolis? I mean, think about the daily grind for a second. We're all juggling these demanding jobs, completely packed schedules, and yeah, in cities like Chicago, you're often battling some pretty harsh weather on top of it all. By the time you actually carve out a free hour, the mere thought of going out and trying to meet total strangers, it can feel absolutely exhausting. We all want connection, right? We want that dependable community. But the mechanics of actually building it from scratch in a sea of millions of people, man, it can feel incredibly daunting.
Okay, so let's get into Section 1, the Chicago Social Challenge, and finding community. Just picture your typical networking event or one of those generic social mixers. You walk in, grab a drink, and bam, you are instantly hit with that overwhelming figure out what to do anxiety. You know the feeling, right? You're scanning the room, desperately trying to find a friendly face, trying to awkwardly insert yourself into a conversation. It's totally unstructured, and frankly, it can leave you feeling way more isolated than if you just stayed on your couch. But compare that to the antidote, ballroom dancing. It is a highly structured activity. It's partner-based by design. So instead of walking into a room and just fending for yourself, you're stepping into an environment that literally gives you a built-in reason to connect with another human being. It's a real game changer. And the source material hits the nail on the head with this crucial point. Ballroom dancing isn't just about observing others, it's partner-based by design. This completely flips the social dynamic on its head. In a class or a group practice, you're not just awkwardly standing against a wall people watching. The structure actually requires students to work in guided pairings and, this is the best part, to rotate partners throughout the session. Think about what that does. It entirely removes the awkwardness of having to approach a stranger cold. The structure does all the heavy lifting for you. You're paired up, you have a shared task, and poof, the pressure of initiating contact just vanishes. Moving on to Section 2, built-in reasons to connect through shared challenges. It is so fascinating how the source breaks down the specific shared challenges of learning to dance. Because think about it. Everyone in that room, regardless of what they do for a living or what their background is, even if they have two left feet, they are suddenly facing the exact same learning curve. You're all trying to remember the counts. You're all trying to figure out how to coordinate your feet with someone else's without stepping on their toes. You're all just trying to find the rhythm of the music. And these shared challenges, they create instant, completely natural conversation starters. After a couple lessons, you aren't struggling to think of boring small talk. You're having these quick, genuine exchanges about how a certain step felt, or asking where to find practice tips, or guessing what song they're going to play next. That shared struggle builds an instant bond. Which brings us to Section 3, friendly feedback and creating trust. Now, we often think of dance as just physical movement, right? But this points to one of the absolutely most underrated social benefits of ballroom dancing, the incredibly supportive feedback culture. In these classes, instructors are actively coaching your technique, your posture, your timing, and because everyone is in the trenches learning together, students naturally start to encourage each other, especially the beginners. Your improvement is shared, and it's visible to the whole room. When you finally nail that tricky turn you've been practicing for weeks, the people around you see it, and they celebrate it with you. Because everyone is a little bit vulnerable while they learn the basics, that shared visibility creates a deeply comfortable, trusting environment. All right, Section 4, consistent community, built through repetition. This right here is exactly why this approach works so much better than standard socializing. A massive city like Chicago offers this fantastic range of recurring events. We're talking social dance nights, studio showcases, regular group outings, the whole shebang. And why is this so absolutely crucial? Well, it all comes down to repetition. Human beings simply bond faster when they see the exact same faces over and over again in a low-pressure setting. If you just go to a random bar or a one-off mixer, you suffer from what we can call the dropping in once syndrome. You meet someone, you leave, you literally never see them again. But with a dependable weekly routine like ballroom dancing, you are steadily expanding your network. Those casual conversations about which venue has the best atmosphere or which songs you absolutely love,
they start to naturally carry beyond the dance floor, and before you know it, those familiar faces turn into real, lasting friendships.
And finally, Section 5, taking the first step and joining the dance floor. So here is exactly how all of this builds into an actionable plan. If you're sitting there right now thinking, okay, I really need a dependable weekly plan to meet people, here is exactly what you do. Step 1, start with a beginner class. Seriously, don't worry about looking foolish. Literally, everyone there is in the same boat. Step 2, soon after you start, go ahead and attend a local social event. Put that newfound confidence and those basic steps to work in a slightly more social setting. And step 3, when you're choosing where to go, specifically look for studios and events that emphasize welcoming instruction and clear etiquette for new dancers. You really want to find a place that prioritizes that friendly feedback culture we just talked about. By following these 3 simple steps, you can take a fun hobby and turn it into one of the most practical, effective ways ever to build up your social circle.
So I want to leave you with this final thought to chew on. When you're feeling the weight of a busy city schedule and you really want to connect with people without all the agonizing awkwardness of typical networking, will a dependable weekly routine on the dance floor be your key to a new community? It provides the structure, the shared learning curve, and the recurring familiar faces that we all need to really thrive. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Get out there, find your rhythm, and I will see you next time.